Silence all stand. All persons having any business before this honourable court now draw nigh and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Rebecca Irini Atala.
May it please the court, I move that Rebecca Irini Atala be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rebecca Irini Atala be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sanya Bhatnagar.
May it please the court, I move that Sanya Bhatnagar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sanya Bhatnagar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Carla Suzanne Yvonne Brown.
May it please the court, I move that Carla Suzanne Yvonne Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Carla Suzanne Yvonne Brown be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yuji Chen.
May it please the court, I move that Yujia Chen be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yujia Chen be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Paul David Coombs.
May it please the court, I move that Paul David Coombs be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Paul David Coombs be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Samantha Marie Davies.
May it please the court, I move that Samantha Marie Davies be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Samantha Marie Davies be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Raphael Owen Delaharp.
May it please the court, I move that Raphael Owen Delaharp be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Raphael Owen Delaharp be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Graham Scott Denver Feder.
May it please the court, I move that Graham Scott Denver Feder be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Graham Scott Denver Feder be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nicholas James Donlan.
May it please the court, I move that Nicholas James Donlan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nicholas James Donlan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Leanne Alexandra Drynan.
May it please the court, I move that Leanne Alexandra Drynan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Leanne Alexandra Drynan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Katerina Ursula Duncan.
May it please the court, I move that Katerina Ursula Duncan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Katerina Ursula Duncan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Angela Fan.
May it please the court, I move that Angela Fan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Angela Fan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
James Connor Feggins.
May it please the court, I move that James Connor Feggins be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let James Connor Feggins be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nathan Gabriel Faglin.
May it please the court, I move that Nathan Gabriel Faglin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nathan Gabriel Faglin be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ashnita Gunda.
May it please the court, I move that Ashnita Gunda be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ashnita Gunda be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Joanna Joy Massey Griffiths.
May it please the court, I move that Joanna Joy Massey Griffiths be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Joanna Joy Massey Griffiths be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sandeep Gupta.
May it please the court, I move that Sandeep Gupta be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sandeep Gupta be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Edwina Isabella Hall.
May it please the court, I move that Edwina Isabella Hall be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Edwina Isabella Hall be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Megan Ida Kirk.
May it please the court, I move that Megan Ida Kirk be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Megan Ida Kirk be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Isabella Louisa Crone.
May it please the court, I move that Isabella Louisa Crone be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Isabella Louisa Crone be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Norma Lebdi.
May it please the court, I move that Norma Lebdi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Norma Lebdi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Isaac William Mann.
May it please the court, I move that Isaac William Mann be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Isaac William Mann be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Freya Mehta.
May it please the court, I move that Freya Mehta be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Freya Mehta be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
John Basil Miracles.
May it please the court, I move that John Basil Miracles be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That John Basil Miracles be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rochelle Lauren Moran.
May it please the court, I move that Rochelle Lauren Moran be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rochelle Lauren Moran be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Aisha Rami Nazal.
May it please the court, I move that Aisha Rami Nazal be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Aisha Rami Nazal be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
James Neil Newton.
May it please the court, I move that James Neil Newton be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let James Neil Newton be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kimberly Nguyen.
May it please the court, I move that Kimberly Nguyen be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kimberly Nguyen be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Haiba Nyam.
May it please the court, I move that Haiba Nyam be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Haiba Nyam be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sasha Onyanova.
May it please the court, I move that Sasha Onyanova be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sasha Onyanova be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Shukri Omar.
May it please the court, I move that Shukri Omar be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Shukri Omar be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Harriet John Otto.
May it please the court, I move that Harriet John Otto be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Harriet John Otto be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tui Ti Hu Pham.
May it please the court, I move that Tui Ti Hu Pham be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tui Ti Hu Pham be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
George Daniel Rath.
May it please the court, I move that George Daniel Rath be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let George Daniel Rath be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lauren Jean Roberts.
May it please the court, I move that Lauren Jean Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lauren Jean Roberts be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Lauren Ellen Sampson.
May it please the court, I move that Lauren Ellen Sampson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Lauren Ellen Sampson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Sharma.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica Sharma be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica Sharma be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Charlotte Ethel Smee.
May it please the court, I move that Charlotte Ethel Smee be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Charlotte Ethel Smee be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Corrie Martin Vanderschaaf.
May it please the court, I move that Corrie Martin Vanderschaaf be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Corrie Martin Vanderschaaf be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Diane Fiona Villaray.
May it please the court, I move that Diane Fiona Villaray be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Diane Fiona Villaray be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yinan Wang.
May it please the court, I move that Yinan Wang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yinan Wang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amelia Ancha White.
May it please the court, I move that Amelia Ancha White be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amelia Ancha White be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Amita Walanda.
May it please the court, I move that Amita Walanda be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Amita Walanda be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Daniel Langladicki Watton.
May it please the court, I move that Daniel Langladicki Watton be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Daniel Langladicki Watton be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Thank you, Registrar. Now that the formal moving of lawyers has ended, I would like to warmly welcome you to this virtual admission ceremony at the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today to my right is Justice Rothman, who is a Judge of the Common Law Division of the Court, and on my left Justice Stevenson, who is a Judge of the Equity Division. Together we constitute the Court that has, in exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice. As we gather for this celebration, physically dispersed, I would like to begin by recognising the various traditional lands on which we meet. This ceremony is streamed from the Banco Court, which is located on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge these traditional custodians and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and traditions of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. To all the new lawyers watching today, welcome to the legal profession. This admission ceremony may be different to what you were expecting, and these are challenging times when you're unable to be admitted in person. However, your admission, conducted remotely, reflects the agility and adaptability which you will need to possess as lawyers in an age of great change. This is a time for celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get to this point through caffeine-fuelled nights and obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook, and more cases than you could ever hope to remember. You've entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered the mysterious and ubiquitous reasonable person, and have understood the Constitution consists of so much more than just the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admission oath dates back to the 12th century. This court first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you that is how long it feels like you've been studying. For many of you, the support of your family and friends has been invaluable. No doubt they have also been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I do hope you take the time to thank them today. The oath or affirmation you made before this ceremony is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is an acknowledgement of the weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers and our somewhat unusual choice of fashion. On a lighter note, on one occasion some years ago, I recall a young member of the audience asking if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. I was very sorry to disappoint. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You will be unsurprised to hear that over the past 18 months we have had to adapt quite a bit, as you can see today. COVID-19 has meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure that access to justice continues in the midst of a pandemic. Things don't always go smoothly, as those with me on the bench can undoubtedly attest to, and as you have unfortunately witnessed in the delay to the start of this ceremony this morning. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication and fairness to participants. And occasionally a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the challenges we are facing, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implication for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural and remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes that deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half all solicitors with the practicing certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of this court and, for example, amongst barristers in speaking roles before the High Court. On the other hand, it is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates. But we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head-on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and people from diverse cultural backgrounds continue to be alarmingly underrepresented in the legal profession and particularly within the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession for people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which this year has again increased, or because of other systemic issues, is troubling. Not just this, but we'll only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than those who've been around for as long as me. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment or bullying within the profession, unfair laws or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak up for these things. They do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Some would say there are, of course, only a handful of lawyer jokes, the rest are true stories. But jokes aside, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court, the administration of justice, and other ethical duties you must uphold. Now that you are lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there is a lot more to it than that. You're an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum as a series of abstract concepts, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly, with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answer to the same questions for the same reason, no matter who asks the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is foundational to upholding the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other time by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted with the object of ensuring that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable only to us. A client reading your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and your speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I really use double negatives, tautologies, and wordy clauses that take up a whole page? I would suggest that the answer to those questions is plainly no. The best advocates make their points simply and succinctly. Now, some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could use that reminder, but don't pick up their bad habits. I also want to speak about failure. I would not be surprised if there are quite a few overachievers and perfectionists watching this live stream today. Even so, at various points of your career, you will make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. When you do make those mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. I myself have made many mistakes over the years, far too many to remember. Even as Chief Justice, my decisions have on occasion been successfully appealed to the High Court. When that happens, I simply grit my teeth and remind myself it's not just a rumour that the High Court is infallible. At times, however, even dissenting opinions become the law. Finally, I want to emphasise that your mental health is extremely important. This may sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out or distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or to take a step back when you need to. Also remember that law is a collegiate profession, and in times of difficulties, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. I found that out throughout my career. Although you might find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case, and I lost many more after that. Throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on the other barristers on my floor to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the sly tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. Now, I hasten to add I don't include either of my fellow judges on the bench in that comment. On behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, and particularly those sitting with me today, I congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The Court will now adjourn.
So let's all stand.